11 ultra-violent destructive Darkseid moments from animation. Explored. The personification of evil, Darkseid is one of fiction's most popular villains and definitely the most menacing in the DC universe. This tyrannical ruler of Apokolips has been a menace to the Justice League multiple times, thanks to his fixation on wanting to terraform Earth into Apokolips. Throughout several storylines across animation and live action, Darkseid and his parademons have invaded Earth, and in a very instance, he has proved himself to be brutal, violent, and destructive. Well, there is not much you can expect from someone who is okay with destroying his own son with his powers.
Time to die, Man of Steel.
In today's video, we will go over 11 such instances where Darkseid showed off his ridiculously violent side. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a whole lot. So thank you, and let's begin. Darkseid ambushes Superman/Supergirl. Superman Batman Apokolips 2010. The 2010 animated film Superman Batman Apokolips introduces Superman's biological cousin, Kara Zor-El, to the world. Kara landed on Earth years after Superman due to her escape pod going off the course during its journey from Krypton, leaving her in suspended animation for years. After she is discovered, it is decided that Kara will learn to control her powers at Themyscira under the guidance of the Amazonians. All seems well, especially with the League having another godlike Kryptonian by their side. But life isn't so easy when you have the Darkseid as your enemy. Darkseid sets his sights on the girl and decides to have her brainwashed and eventually make her a part of Apokolips's female furies. He sends a horde of his Doomsday clones to abduct Kara under the guise of attacking Themyscira. While the Amazonians, Superman, and Batman are busy fighting off the enemy, Kara is kidnapped and taken to Apokolips. On Apokolips, Darkseid gets Kara brainwashed and turns her into his cold, bloodthirsty honor guard. Later, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman infiltrate Darkseid's palace on Apokolips, and after a stressful battle, bring Kara back to Themyscira safely. After things go back to normal, Clark Kent decides to take Kara to Smallville on Earth to make her meet his adoptive parents. They are oblivious to who truly awaits them in Smallville. The Kryptonians are soon intercepted by Darkseid, who was waiting for them in Clark's old house. He plans to kill off Superman and almost does so after knocking Kara out with his Omega beams, which, unlike Superman's heat vision, can alter its course since it locks on to the opponent. It can only be avoided if it is made to hit something else, otherwise it will chase you forever. He grabs Superman by the throat, hoisting him high up into the air. As Superman tries to use his heat vision on Darkseid, the Apokolipton grabs his head with his hand, causing the heat ray to refract all over and explode. Superman is then thrown high into the air and blasted into space by Darkseid's Omega beams. Darkseid's mercilessness does not stop there, as he is soon attacked by Supergirl, giving him a new potential victim to use his might on. Having been trained by both the Amazonians and Themyscira and the Apokoliptons, Kara turns out to be more than capable of just holding Darkseid off. The two engage in a long-drawn battle, and Kara is even able to get several hits in, but Darkseid uses his Omega beams to thwart Kara. He also closes in on her to stamp her, kick her, and blast her away with his terrifying beams, leaving Kara tattered. She manages to avoid his next barrage of Omega beams and even gets Darkseid to take a hit of those beams, but he still ends up with the upper hand and knocks her out. Ultimately, as Kara lies on the ground, Darkseid hits her with his Omega beam for a prolonged period. Darkseid ended Green Lantern Corps. Justice League Dark, Apokolips Wars 2020. The Darkseid from the 2020 film Justice League Dark, Apokolips Wars has the universe in a chokehold. He destroys planets and worlds while making his way to Earth to try to conquer the planet once again after failing the first 2 times. This time, his knowledge about the League's secret plans to launch a counterattack on Apokolips helps Darkseid gain the upper hand and eventually win. Darkseid takes over the world and turns the planet into a wasteland within 2 years. The population is also diminished and Superman is depowered with a liquid kryptonite. Meanwhile, Batman is brainwashed into becoming Darkseid's right-hand man. Many heroes plan to defeat Darkseid and bring an end to the madness on Earth. So, they decide to take the fight to Darkseid instead of intercepting it on Earth. Meanwhile, Darkseid finds himself in the planet Oa, which is easily recognized as the home planet of the Green Lantern Corps. The villain is not strayed away from his warpath and spends his time in Oa killing off the members of the Green Lantern Corps. He feels no remorse in doing so, as usual, as the Lanterns bear the brunt of the villain's Omega beams. John Stewart's Green Lantern proves to be more stubborn than the others, while Darkseid speaks to a hologram of Batman who gives an report about heroes closing in on him. Darkseid casually asks Batman to transport a portion of Earth's magma to Oa, since he wanted to prove a point. As John Stewart's Green Lantern tries to launch his attack, he is met with a blast from the magma and is turned into ash alongside every other lantern. Darkseid almost kills Zeus, Ares, and the old gods, Zack Snyder's Justice League. The standard Justice League introductory film, be it Joss Whedon's live action, the Zack Snyder cut, or the animated one, all revolve around Darkseid wishing to terraform the Earth into Apokolips using the Mother Box. In Snyder's version, Wonder Woman narrates the story of Darkseid's attack 1,000 years ago to Batman. The threat posed by Darkseid resulted in the birth of the Golden Age of Heroes, as the Amazonians, Atlanteans, Green Lanterns, and the old gods such as Zeus and Ares united to fight off Darkseid, saving Earth and preventing the people from being transformed into parademons. As Darkseid landed on Earth with his army, the heroes fought him off valiantly. However, Darkseid was portrayed as a ridiculously powerful being from the start, powerful enough to stand tall against the greatest heroes, all fighting in unison to prevent the Mother Boxes from uniting. Darkseid was able to withstand several attacks, inflicting several of his own in the process. In one scene, he even dismembers the palm of a Green Lantern and the camera zooms in on the image, which gives us a glimpse into the Darkseid's ruthlessness. He comes close to killing off all such powerful heroes, but the final blows from Zeus and Ares take a huge toll on his body, forcing the parademons to retreat with Darkseid. Darkseid beats Superman to death. Justice League Unlimited. In the episode Destroyer in the animated series Justice League Unlimited, Darkseid puts Superman in one of the worst, most agonizing situations that one can ever imagine. Business is as usual with Darkseid attacking Earth with his parademons to terraform the planet. The League allies itself with the villainous Legion of Doom, since Earth is home to those supervillains as well, and Lex Luthor seeks revenge on Darkseid for taking Brainiac away. Superman, Batman, and Lex Luthor find themselves in Darkseid's command ship as they confront the Apocalyptian. But Darkseid also shows off his personal enmity with Superman as he wants Superman to witness the destruction of the planet he loves before he is killed. The parademons drill holes into the earth to give rise to the fire pits that will turn Earth's terrain apocalyptian. Meanwhile, Darkseid fights Superman trying to kill him. However, Superman proves himself as he closes in on the villain, planning to finally use his full strength. The Kryptonian complains about never getting to use his powers to the fullest because of the fear of hurting someone. However, Darkseid can take it, and this means that for the first time, Superman can go all out. Darkseid soon becomes the recipient of Superman's most pulsating hits ever, making the viewers think that this is an easy win for the Kryptonian. However, things change for the worse when Darkseid unleashes the Agony Matrix, which is a powerful torture field making Superman turn into his victim. The Matrix activates every pain receptor in Superman's body, putting the Kryptonian in agonizing and never-ending pain. Darkseid asks Superman to imagine the worst pain that he has ever felt in his life, and then imagine a life where he will find himself going through that pain forever. However, he tops off his antagonistic monologue as he says,
"Oh, that's right. You don't have to imagine."
You can only feel bad for Superman at this point. Darkseid shows no mercy to the League. Justice League War. The 2014 animated film Justice League War puts the focus on Darkseid, who is trying to invade Earth with his horde of parademons only to terraform the planet into Apokolips. The live-action Justice League movie revolves around a similar plot point, which is made more obvious by the importance of the mother boxes to the storyline. The first half of the movie is focused on the conception of the Justice League to fight off the parademons. At first, they remain oblivious to why the parademons were attacking them and wanted the mother box. However, with the help of Cyborg, or Victor Silas, who was born of the technology of the mother box, the League soon learn about Darkseid, Apokolips, and his desire to terraform Earth. Earth is soon overwhelmed by parademons, and for the first time, the League spots Darkseid flying towards them. Superman calls him out for not looking tough enough, which soon proves itself to be a sarcastic punchline instead of a good insult, as the League members are simply no match for Darkseid. Aerial attacks using human technology do nothing to him. Even Green Lantern's attacks break after they come into contact with Darkseid. Meanwhile, the villain casually picks up Green Lantern and throws him against a wall. He later grabs him by the arm, putting enough pressure to crack Lantern's hand. Shazam, Superman, and Wonder Woman are also Darkseid's victims, and they are taken down after just a few hits. The villain soon slams his fists on the ground, causing large-scale infrastructural destruction. He then charges his Omega beams, preparing himself to shoot them at Superman and Flash at the same time. The two heroes run as fast as they can as the Omega beams are shot. Flash manages to evade the clingy beams by making them hit some parademons, while Superman bears the hit and is eventually captured by the parademons. Darkseid doesn't quit and continues the havoc. Justice League War. Continuing with the story in Justice League War, Bruce Wayne allows himself to be captured after Superman falls to the same fate. But he does it only to get the opportunity to save Superman. The League is hopelessly outmatched anyway, and with their strongest warrior gone, or worse, being taken to the side with Darkseid, Earth would have absolutely no hope left. As Batman prevents Superman from being turned into a parademon in Apokolips, the League takes up Green Lantern's idea to destroy Darkseid's eyes to avoid his Omega beams once and for all. The League put up an immense battle to take out the villain's eyes, and Cyborg reopens the boom tube to send Darkseid and the parademons back to Apokolips. However, it is not that easy to get rid of Darkseid. The Apokolipton single-handedly fights off all the members of the League while Cyborg tries to close the boom tube. Each superhero is taken out by one or two of Darkseid's attacks, and mind you, this all takes place while a blind Darkseid fights. If he had his Omega beams intact, he would have been able to avoid being sucked back into Apokolips. However, the League is ultimately successful in using their combined efforts to send Darkseid back and close the boom tube. Darkseid defeats Batman's whole team. Batman, the Brave, and the Bold. I know we have said it 100 times before, but once again, Darkseid invades Earth to terraform it into Apokolips. This is his idea of real estate, I guess. The dude just wants another home. And as usual, the League sticks together to fight off Darkseid and the parademons. Since these events take place in Batman, the Brave, and the Bold, Batman is the central character here. Meanwhile, he is joined by the Justice League International. Darkseid's son Kalibak sets up the boom tube generator to bring in Darkseid and his forces. Batman tries to stop it, but he cannot get to the generator because Kalibak is already guarding it. Ultimately, the party comes to Earth and Batman intercepts it with the Justice League International. Batman is a mere human with toys when in front of Darkseid. Even a combined attack from the heroes with superpowers and super high-tech gadgets do nothing to the Apokolipton. Darkseid soon unleashes a barrage of his Omega beams at Batman, but he is soon impressed by the mortal's ability to avoid them. Batman tries to play with his words and challenges Darkseid to unarmed combat. Darkseid agrees and is easily way too powerful for the rich guy with brains, as he beats the living hell out of Batman, which Batman is only able to withstand because he is the main character. A series of boom tubes open up all around them, sucking Darkseid and the parademons back to Apokolips. And if that did not happen, thanks to Question, who went undercover as a parademon to reverse the generator, Batman would probably be toast.
You dare? You dare?
Darkseid beats Batman to death. Superman Batman Apokolips 2010. We have already spoken about Darkseid's fight with Superman and Supergirl in the 2010 movie Superman Batman Apokolips, but they were not the only heroes to fall victim to Darkseid's abnormal strength and ruthlessness. Batman, who is just a human, had to undergo the misfortune of almost being beaten to death by Darkseid. After Kara is brainwashed in Apokolips to be Darkseid's honor guard, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman infiltrate the planet. While the others engage Darkseid's forces in battle, Batman does what he does best, uses his wits to overpower everyone. Batman gains access to Apokolips's hell spores. When Darkseid learns of it, he thinks Batman is bluffing since the code to the spores was encrypted. However, Batman confesses to breaking the code and reprogramming them. He even gives out the password to show Darkseid who the villain is truly messing with. And even a single hell spore has the power to obliterate Apokolips. Batman activating all 500 of them definitely did not look good for Darkseid. Enraged, Darkseid closes in on Batman, knocking him off the podium and into the pillars that break on impact as the man takes a beating from a god. And Darkseid does not hold back with his strength, making it a severely imbalanced fight, at least with respect to physical strength. He throws Batman through the walls and holds him by the throat, as the Bat's body is made to hang out of a window with a fire burning beneath him. But Batman makes a deal where he agrees to deactivate the Hellspores in exchange for going back with Kara and the others. Ultimately, Darkseid has no choice but to yield. He even commends Batman on his ruthlessness, praising it for being something only a human, a race that goes against its own people, can pull off. In fact, Darkseid's admirable opinion towards the ruthless act that Batman was forced to pull off shows what kind of a being he truly is.
Please, Father!
Darkseid blasts his own son Kalibak with his Omega Beam. Superman, the animated series, Father's Day. Darkseid proves himself to be one of the worst fathers in the landscape of animation in the episode Father's Day from Superman the animated series. Darkseid has a son called Kalibak, who has often been quite slow and dim, much to his evil but competent father's distaste. But he wants to win his father's favor. For that, he asks for a chance to destroy Superman. But he is only met by Darkseid's disapproval, since Superman's destruction is an important job and he cannot leave such a thing to Kalibak. Meanwhile, Darkseid convinces Kalibak to go to Earth and kill Superman against Darkseid's wishes, because if he succeeds, he will win Darkseid's favor anyway, so Kalibak heads to Earth and fights Superman. He proves to be strong enough to be a tough opponent for Superman. Their fight almost causes a train wreck, and no matter what Superman does, Kalibak manages to withstand it all. He uses Darkseid's lack of faith in him to motivate himself and almost defeats Superman until the Man of Steel hurls Kalibak several miles away. Soon Kalibak crashes on the land where a boom tube opens up. Darkseid appears in front of his disgraced son. Kalibak agrees to underestimating Superman's power, but he also says that Superman will never catch him off guard again. Darkseid tells him that Kalibak's last statement is true because the villain soon proceeds to kill his own son using the Omega Beams, thus winning the Best Dad Ever award.
I could easily destroy you now.
Darkseid makes a showcase out of Superman. Superman the Animated Series, Apokolips Now. Darkseid shows off his brutal side during a battle to conquer Earth in a two-part episode, Apokolips Now, from Superman the Animated Series. His biological son, Orion, who is not evil as a result of being raised by the High Father, notifies Superman of Darkseid planning an invasion on Earth. With Orion's help, they manage to fight off the first invasion, but after Orion leaves and cannot be contacted again, Superman is singled out as the one who has to face Darkseid and his parademons. The parademons attack Metropolis Plaza as they arrive in waves. Superman catches his breath while being exhausted from the fight, but he is soon visited by Darkseid, who commends him for being a magnificent fighter. Soon, Superman becomes the recipient of Darkseid's infamous Omega beams, and the Apokolipton uses a sustained amount of the attack on the Man of Steel. While his mouth bleeds, Darkseid shows off the battered down Superman to the people of Earth, making them realize how he has broken down their only savior. The superhero, being turned into a headpiece for a tank and being shown off as a trophy, did more than enough to break the morale of the people on Earth. Darkseid tortured Wonder Woman and slaughtered half the Amazonian warriors. Darkseid has a knack for destroying worlds and wiping out races. Unfortunately, the valiant warriors of Themyscira have not been exempt from his wrath. We see this in the 103rd and 104th issues from the 1987 Wonder Woman comics. A power-hungry Darkseid had already taken the power of the old gods such as Zeus, but that was not enough. He wanted more, for which he needed to seek out more gods, and what better place to find out about their location from the Amazons of Themyscira, who are affiliated with the Greek gods who Darkseid seeks. The Apokoliptian gets his hands on Wonder Woman as he tortures her into telling him where the Greek gods were, but she does not yield, which prompts Darkseid to attack Themyscira with his troops. Wonder Woman soon goes back to the only place she has ever truly called home and fights off the parademons. With her immeasurable strength, she is able to take down many parademons at once, but there is not much she can do against their vast numbers. The place is devastated and the Amazonians are dying left and right. Darkseid gets Wonder Woman to stop her carnage against his army by almost killing her ally, Mike Schor. But no matter what, Wonder Woman refuses to tell him where the gods are. Soon, the other Amazonian warriors band up to fight alongside Wonder Woman after they are inspired by her efforts. Wonder Woman confesses that the gods are moved beyond their cognizance, but Darkseid, annoyed, rains fire on the Themyscians using his weapons. Ultimately, the place and its people are left destroyed, proving that even the bravest hearts fall to the darkest of evils. You see, the thing about antagonists is that not every one of them is bad. Many have been molded to act a certain way. Many take part in evil activities because that is all they know. Many do it to avenge loved ones, and many are more complex than even all of that. Even Lex Luthor has a complex sense of morality, but what distinguishes Darkseid from the rest is the fact that the Master of Apokolips is nothing but pure evil. And with that, today's video has come to an end. So what do you think about Darkseid's violent moments? And if you liked our content, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. And in the meantime, have a good one and be safe. Thank you, everyone.
But it'll be my life.